Patty Heaton,
yes.
Once again on TV in primetime, you're playing a mom of an extended family. This one is pretty different from Everybody Loves Raymond. How would you define it?
Well, that was one of the issues I had when I first heard about this show, The Middle, that I thought, geez, I just finished playing a mom, for 9 years, and to do it all again. But like you said, it's a very different character. It's from her point of view. It's a Midwestern thing, so it's very different from the Barone family. It's single camera, so it's out in their world. It's not confined to the soundstage. It's not confined to the home. So they're out and about. So it's just the whole thing is very different. And having it set in the Midwest is a different thing, too. So, it really turned out great. I can't believe that I got on another show with this quality of writing.
Yeah, and it's from your perspective. It's not from a Raymond's perspective. You're not reacting to him. And it is really, and it's fascinating to play off of you personally. You're a champion in real life of Heartland values, and this is a show about a Heartland woman struggling. There aren't the glamorous issues. There's no sports writers around like Raymond. You're selling cars. These people are doing real blue collar stuff.
Well, yeah, and I wouldn't say that Raymond was actually necessarily glamorous, but for sure, the Middle is not. And I wish I could score just one Sex and the City kind of show where I could wear some, nice, dresses and high heels and stuff. But I'm thankful for what I have, and I do relate to this a lot. And I think it's again, as you said, it's from the woman's point of view, from a mom's point of view, who's trying to raise kids and the money's tight. And what's great about the show, it is very family oriented, values oriented, but there's such an edge to it. There's such, the laughs just come from these really funny, edgy things. And it's really hard to strike that kind of balance. And Eileen and Deanne, our creators, Eileen Heisler and Deanne Helene, they just are brilliant at just really being on the edge there and keeping that warmth and keeping the humanity and be able to have fun with it.
And your character has so many layers and kind of a psychological complexity to it that, from my point of view as an awards watcher, we have to take you seriously again as a candidate for Emmys. But I don't know, when I talk to actors, how sophisticated you people are, how really knowledgeable you are about the awards itself. You participate in it, but I don't know how. In other words, do you remember back to the first few years of Raymond when you guys couldn't get on the Emmy map at all?
Yes.
And then it took a while to. So now that you're back in contention again, do you remember that and say, hey, I just have to be patient here? It takes a while sometimes to get on the radar.
I definitely, it's not so much about getting Emmys, although that helps to bring audience members to the show. It's a little frustrating when you keep reading articles and people are saying this is the most underrated show, it's the best kept secret, it's the greatest show you're not watching. Right. At first you're all kind of like, oh, that's great. And then after about the 12th article and then you're already finished your second season, you're like, okay, everybody should know about this show by now. Somebody's not, taking care of business. So, we're trying to figure out, part of the deal is we're on at 8 o'clock and that's a good time slot for us, I think, but it isn't conducive to having, massive amounts of people. Although I say that and then I remember that Friends was on at 8 o'clock. So, maybe that's not a legit, excuse. But I do remember that Raymond took a while, and I also thought, that this show sort of had that same kind of thing. It's a slow and steady wins the race, where we're just really doing quality stuff. It's getting better and better every time. And it is just taking people a little longer to get to see it.
Yeah. Are you aware, too, that there really is a snobism to the Emmys? I think it's not a coincidence that the top earning show in terms of the most Emmys ever is a show about two snooty brothers arguing about opera and wine, Frasier. Or on the drama side, that the biggest winner in recent times is The West Wing. There is something very, very biased about the Hollywood voters, where they look at a show like The Middle and go, those aren't my people. That what really distinguishes The Middle is it's so honest in its depiction of these people. It's so gritty. And that's one of its appeals, but it could be penalized from a snooty Hollywood point of view. I don't know, but I'm guessing that it may happen.
I don't know. I think what's more difficult than, because, you could say, because you look at a show like Modern Family, and it's all about family and kids and stuff, and yet, it rightly so won all these Emmys. And so, because I was thinking, well, maybe it's because it's more about kids, but then, there's shows with kids like Modern Family that do it well. But I just think the category, there's so many shows now, and the categories, like for comedy, that you're like, wow. We always had this problem with Raymond, where an hour show like Sex and the City was considered a comedy, and then it's up against a half hour like Raymond, or now Nurse Jackie is in the comedy category. It's just, there's a ton of shows, and also there's a lot of really good shows. So I just think that the issue is just competition. There's just a lot of really great, healthy competition, which, by the way, is a great thing, because, actors, historically, there's so few jobs for so many people, and the more that's out there, the more cable networks there are that have successful shows, the better. So I'm all for that competition. I just think that sometimes you're comparing apples to oranges in some of these categories. We're all lumped in the same category, and they're actually very different shows. But there's nothing you could do about it. If you start trying to parse down, well, this show isn't really a comedy, or it's more this or single, you're going to have an 8-hour awards show as opposed to the endless 5-hour one that we already have. So I don't think there's anything you can do about it.
You are a notorious dragon slayer, though, at these awards. Let me turn back the clock and remind you of an Emmy contest, which I think is one of the most thrilling in the Emmy history. And that was the year that you won for the Canister episode. And you were nominated against Callista Flockhart, who, just as you're saying, she was in a 1-hour show of Ally McBeal, and she had all the big scenes. She had the most screen time. She had all these teary moments. She had the full emotional range and impact, the kinds of things that normally win. And I was a fool that year. I bet on Callista. You showed me wrong. But that Canister episode was so powerful in terms of daughter-in-law and mother-in-law and the dynamics that went on there, and it was so well scripted. But you won with a half-hour show against an hour show, and that's very rare that happens in these bouts. How familiar with all of that stuff were you at the time when you were going through it?
I didn't remember that until you said it, and now I can't remember if I knew I must have been aware of that. Did you pick your own episode in those days? Yeah, we always pick our own episodes. But I remember being utterly shocked that I won. And I hate it when actors go up and say, I didn't prepare anything because I didn't expect it. I'm like, if you're nominated, you should prepare something. But that year I actually did not, because I think it's because of what you're saying. I didn't get to do all the bells and whistles, and I really wasn't expecting to get up there. It was shocking to me.
Yeah. But the point I'm making is that these awards really pay off when they hit, because it suddenly Raymond was a case of this was an average American family that was being embraced as a TV concept by the Hollywood gods. That was amazing. Over and over and over again. Ray won. Brad Garrett won. Doris Roberts won every year.
Right. Yeah.
There was a lot of love being spread around. You won twice.
Right.
That was amazing. That's very rare in Emmys that happens.
Yeah, that was really great. And I do think, we always had Seinfeld was always there winning along, before we were, and I think Friends also. We were, it was sort of the apex of comedy for a while there, those years when all those great shows were happening. And so it was great to be involved in that. And I've just read an analysis of sort of all the upfronts in the whole TV season, and they were talking about Raymond as being one of those iconic shows that now is one of the most viewed, along with Seinfeld and Friends, in syndication. And I just think that's amazing that I got to be involved in that. And then to get another show like The Middle is I just actually emailed my producer today, Eileen Heisler, and just said, I can't believe I was on that one show and now I'm on this show. It's amazing.
Well, good luck to you at the Emmys and in prime time from here on in, Patty.
Thanks, Tom.